Evening everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that sort of stuff. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel, please do so, click the bell, appreciate it. That's that out of the way, thanks a lot. So tonight, I'm not going to be talking about finger picking and things like that. I'm going to talk about something really basic, in a common, very common, first really big hurdle, really big brick wall with learning the guitar, and that's bar chords. And I'll never forget when the first time I tried to learn bar chords, they're just very difficult. So in this video, I'm going to just give you a few sort of tips really on making bar chords easier for you to play. But first question is, what is a bar chord? So a bar chord is a movable chord shape that uses your first finger as a bar. So say for example, open E is that. F is basically an open E shape, the same shape, just with slightly altered fingering, but you're using your first finger to bar across the first fret, and that's F. So, and that shape can be moved up the fretboard. So that's F, that's G, that's A, that's B, like that. So yeah, that's what a bar chord is. And why would you even bother to learn bar chords? Because they are very difficult when you first start out. And the reason is, you start off with your open chords, A, D, C, A minor, whatever you've learned, G. But that'll only get you so far. What you'll realise is, chords like F and B, it's pretty difficult to, figure out fingerings for those chords played open. What a lot of chord books do and tutorials do is they'll teach you F kind of like this, just F major 7th, but sort of doing a partial bar on the top string. So that's a bit of a cheat way of getting out of playing bar chords. And they might teach you B as sort of something like this, like a B 7th, which will mean that you can avoid learning bar chords for a bit. And that's the way I started. Well, I started with that B shape, that B7, but I went straight into a full-blown F bar chord. And yeah, I don't think that you should sort of go for the easy option. I think that the earlier that you can get into playing bar chords, the better really. Bar chords are the first big hurdle that you'll face, or at least it's the biggest hurdle the biggest hurdle that I faced when I first started out, with a brick wall really. But the benefits to bar chords are, you've moved away from having to learn different fingerings for different open chords to when you learn your first bar chord, which will probably be F. That is now movable, so the fingering stays the same, but you're playing different chords, which means that it's opening up the neck, and it's teaching you at least the notes on the bottom string, like F, G, A, B. So yeah, learning bar chords opens up the guitar, in my opinion. So you should just get in there as soon as you can. So I just wanted to give you a few tips tonight, just to make that a bit easier. And the first thing is, if you've sort of learned open chords, you've probably picked up a bad habit already. And it's also a bad habit that I've got, and it's rapping, call it a bad habit if you want. There's people have different opinions about this, but I tend to wrap my thumb around the neck when I'm playing open chords. And if I'm playing lead as well, the fingers wrap the thumb is wrapped around the neck like that. Now, in classical guitar, what they teach you is your thumb is always behind the neck. You know, so when you're playing anything, I can't even do this now. But really, technically, to get, you know, to be technically perfect, like, you know, those amazing virtuoso classical players, the thumb's always at the back of the neck, you know, like that. It's always there. And that's what you've got to do for bar chords as well, because if you think about it, if you're playing like an open E, you're using that thumb really to squeeze the chord. You know, you're not so much pushing the strings down with your fingers. You're sort of squeezing the neck in between your thumb, which is cradled around that neck, and your fingers. Now that's the same. That's exactly what you've got to do with a bar chord, but your fingers on your thumbs on the back of the neck this time. So you're kind of squeezing. So yeah, so and when you first attempt this, you know, it's probably going to sound something a bit like this when you first try it. It's probably going to sound, you know, you're going to get a lot of sort of muted notes, and it's going to sound terrible, and you're going to get discouraged straight away. But what I would say is, if you just concentrate on the bar, you don't actually need to bar all 6 strings, right? If it's an A bar, right, which is basically an E chord moved up 1 fret with different fingering, so it's an A moved up like that, and then the bar applied to it. Really, your first finger is only fretting the bottom E string, the B, and the high E. All of the other fingers, the other strings, are already sort of sounded by your other fingers. So really, it's just those 3. It's not the whole bar. It's just that. So really, you can get away with sort of not having your first finger flat. You can get away with having it sort of crookedly bent across the neck like that. And that's, now you can see those notes are all ringing clear. So that's the first bit of advice I would give. And just stick with it. You know, I think that the other really good bit of advice I could give is, you know, if you're thinking that you're going to be trying to play these chords, even if you play for like half an hour to an hour every night, if you're thinking the next day you'll have it nailed, forget it, right? What you want to think about is, look at your progress on a weekly basis. So, you know, go for it. In a week, you know, practice, like, you know, till your fingers are bleeding. You know, just keep on practicing, even if it's an hour, 2 hours a night, right? And keep doing it every day for a week. And then after a week, if you practice hard enough, you might notice some improvement after a week. That's how long it took me to get bar chords, you know. And when you can see that little bit of progress after a week, it's like it's that light bulb moment that, okay, that this is how much I need to practice, and this is where the results are coming in. So yeah, don't think that you're going to just learn bar chords within a couple of days. It's going to take you weeks, if not months. And the other bit of advice I would give is, don't worry about it too much. You know, for now, at this stage, don't worry about all those notes ringing clean perfectly every time. Now, that's ringing clean for me there now, right? But this is in, you know, a very isolated situation, and I'm picking the strings individually, and I'm playing quite slow, right? More importantly than making those notes ring out clean at the start is just keeping the rhythm up. You know, don't break the rhythm. Practice them, but don't break up your rhythm pattern. That's because that's more important. Because, you know, even if you're muting strings, which the beauty of the guitar is, you can get away with murder on the guitar. You know, so even if you've muted the string, you know, it still sounds okay even if I've fluffed a few of those notes there. If the main thing is keeping the timing, not the actual sound, perfect sounding of the notes, having them ring perfectly clean all the time. You know, even now, you know, you'll hit the odd, you know, dead note or whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because that's just a rhythmic aspect to it. Yeah, so yeah, and the other thing, you know, I did touch briefly on it earlier, but you know, you've got these movable shapes, and by the way, you know, bar chords are sort of invaluable really, because you can't do things like play G flat open, you know, forget it. There's G, try and play G flat. No, you need to play, there's G flat. Yeah, there isn't really an open chord version of G flat. You know, same with B really, you know, but we're not going to get into B because that's, well, there's B for the E bar chord. You know, very difficult to play that open. You know, you can play B7th. It's not the same. Yeah, and also, you know, once you're comfortable with that, and you know, now you're learning the notes, you're learning the fingerboard, you know, B. Now it's the easiest thing in the world to just remove your second finger, and then your major becomes a minor, yeah, and you haven't really had to learn very much. You know, your guitar brain it's taken in all this knowledge about, right, how am I going to bar that F, you know, how am I going to put the bar across there, but once you're there, major, minor, nothing much to think about there. You know, all your sort of guitar brain power has gone into just doing that bar, but it makes the rest of guitar playing easy. So yeah, the sooner you get into it, the better, in my opinion. I'm just going to check my notes here, just see if anything that I've missed. And I don't think there is. Yeah, there's no shortcuts to bar chords. They are difficult. They'll always be difficult. You know, they'll always be more difficult than playing open chords. You're going to make mistakes. It doesn't matter. Keep going. You're not going to see the progress after a couple of days. Measure your progress every week, but keep going. Don't give up. Just think about the benefits that you're going to have once you've got that bar, you know, just your first E bar chord under your belt. Now, once you've mastered the E, you know, E minor is easy. You know, you might even want to go for the 7s. And then, of course, you wanted the A bar chords, which I've done another video about that one, but that's a bit more advanced. But yeah, this is mainly just for starting out on that E bar chord. Get in there. You know, good luck with it. Don't just give up at the open chord stage. Don't just say, oh, I've learned these open chords, get in, yes, I'm a master on the guitar now, I don't need to, I need to learn something else, it's a bit tricky, I'm going to give up now, don't need to learn that. Why do I need to learn something so difficult, it doesn't work, it sounds rubbish. Don't give up, because, you know, bar chords are a key part of learning the guitar. If you don't learn bar chords, well, you can still call yourself a guitarist, I suppose, but learn bar chords. Anyway, I'm waffling, which means it's time to end the video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.